Thank you very much, Dr. Moffat. Ladies and gentlemen. There are three controls or statements that sustain my relationship in both business and socially as I go about my day. The first statement is what goes around comes around. I'm a firm believer that the way you treat people and the way you act, either from a business perspective or from a personal perspective, will circle around and one day reflect on the way people and business treats yourself as well. I'm also a firm believer too that the fact that people, the way they behave responds directly and proportionally to the measures that they are assessed by or recognised for. If you use the wrong measures, you'll get the wrong behaviour. Conversely, if you want the right behaviour, you have to measure the right things. I'm also a firm believer in that in any given relationship, there are three main states of being. The first, I'm okay, you're not okay, or you're okay, I'm not okay, and of course, the I'm okay, you're okay statement. And it may seem a little obvious, but when managing businesses either inside or outside of a given organisation, the first two states are completely unsustainable, and the only long-term position is I'm okay, you're okay, can operate on a long-term basis. Whether the business is focused on automotive sector or not, sustainability for the long-term position is the strategic goal of any organisation. And what I mean by this is sustainability in compliance to legislation in a continually changing marketplace and framework, sustainability in meeting customers' desires and providing satisfaction of product and service, sustainability in maintaining skilled and motivated workforces, and of course also sustainability from a financial and sound structural basis as far as cost and finance. So first, legislation. Legislation has and will most likely continue to have one of the largest impacts on the product strategy of any automotive business. Examples of this are ever-reducing levels of tailpipe emissions and CO2, more stringent requirements for recycling and the use of recyclates, ever-increasing restrictions on material usage, including the eradication of hazardous materials and substances, and end-of-life disposal, and also the vehicle and the plant noise pollutions. The auto industry itself has changed out of all recognition over the past 30 years, with the development of alternative power generations, clean diesels, hybrids, micro-hybrids, range extenders, electric vehicles, hydrogen fuel cells, and continuous drive for lightweight materials has given modern-day vehicles a capability in busy inner urban streets to emit emissions lower than they intake as they drive through the streets. Manufacturing facilities also have had their impact on the environment and have transformed, really, the world in which we live and which we want our children to live. Improvements in air emissions, care of waterways, refuse segregation, responsible landfill and local noise and traffic management have all contributed to a cleaner life for common good. It's true that you do get the behaviour you measure, and global legislation constraints have driven auto manufacturers to invent and develop technologies to ensure compliance and business sustainability. The other three key thrusts for sustainability are dependent purely on the ethos and the auto manufacturer's internal mechanisms. They are how they offer the products to the marketplace, how they reward and recognise their workforce, how they structure their internal costs, and how they manage their business. So the first, the marketplace. Every month, motor shows around the world see a plethora of new products, designs, innovations, features and technologies being paraded in front of thousands of eager onlookers, tempting them to reach into their pockets for the next best thing. This is a never-ending conveyor belt of temptation and opportunity. The industry is nimble and highly adept at searching out white space, creating desire, moving customers onto the next new big thing. So secondly, it's about the people. Pay rates, working conditions, and the work environment are the areas that consume vast amounts of money in any organisation. And reducing outlay in these is often seen as a fast-track mechanism to improving profits. There are always opportunities to trim operational costs. However, though, to maintain the capability of workforce commitment, quality of work output, the quality of processes and of the product depends almost entirely on the capability and motivation of the company's workforce. It's true that what goes around comes around, and don't be surprised if the workforce attitudes start to reflect those of the senior management. And a great many manufacturers know this and have known it for a long time. They recognise the need for inward investment in order to secure world-class people, world-class processes, and a world-class environment. So the third area of thrust really of sustainability is the cost structure. And the desire for financial stability can drive decisions to have a less than positive effect on people and environment. In an industry where the material cost of a given product is between 40 and 50% of total product cost, the supply chain itself presents an obvious opportunity to realise economies. There are three main ways of delivering this kind of improvement, and all are employed by automotive manufacturers today. First is to negotiate a reduced transfer price direct with the supplier and put the onus on that supplier to find a way of delivering their own cost reductions. The second, and by far the most proactive method, is to engage with the supplier base in jointly identifying ways of reducing supply chain costs. There are a comprehensive set of tools and data-driven procedural-based processes that can be applied to analyse a detailed level of cost breakdown to be able to manage those reductions. The third way is to search for alternative supply routes to deliver cheaper solutions. This has led to seeking out lower cost economies and to transfer supply to countries that can deliver a far lower cost structure. But without the full and detailed assessment of the working business and the thirst to realise significant cost improvements, there is a danger in exacerbating abuses such as sweatshops, child labour, poor working conditions, environmentally damaging manufacturing processes, and illegitimate material sourcing. However, with the right level of analysis and supplier assessment, real cost savings can be realised whilst maintaining a supply chain that carries social values and supports the environment of common good. I'm okay, you're okay. Bullying suppliers into submission over cost reductions and forcing them in the supply chain to exercise less than ethical solutions will not deliver a sustainable future for us all. So the question is really, can the automotive industry, or any other industry for that matter, construct a sustainable future, supporting shareholder profit and growth whilst protecting the interests of many? The answer, I believe, is yes. Emphatically yes. Much focus is led from the compliance with legislation. You get the behaviour you measure, and therein lies the illustration of how governments have a large role, an ongoing role to play in the drive for improved global society. But there is a corporate responsibility too, to develop a caring company in which the ethos is to treat people with humility and respect and recognise that what goes around comes around, and a company that develops external mutually beneficial relationships with its supply network. These, I believe, are the building blocks for a sustainable corporate framework, a framework that focuses on creating profit, but has the vision to nurture people's contribution, and also recognise the company's responsibility not only for the welfare of everyone within its sphere of influence, but also the wider environment from which it operates. Thank you very much.